So what we're doing today is I mentioned in the last video we're getting a lot of oil in the intake. You can see it sitting there. I did go ahead and order a kit to overhaul the turbo, but we're also going to check to make sure we're not, well, we know we're getting oil in through there because there's oil in there. So we just want to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep the oil from the PCV system going back into the pan and not going into the intake. And so we're going to do two things. I'm going to go ahead and put some silicone on this thing. That's not really going to make a difference on this, but what will is I've taken this part off, and it goes just like that. It's got that tube that goes down into here that you know, if any oil does escape, it puts it back in over there. What we're going to do is go ahead and put some silicone all around there and put this back so that it will seal all the way around here. And because the way it's set up right now, what it can do is the vapors with oil mist come in through here, and they could exit right back out through right here, and then they would just run into here, and of course they can go into the intake, they can run into here. What we want them to do is to travel around, so it forces it around, and then it can come back, the vapors can come back up through here, and hopefully the oil drops out of the system and runs back into the pan. So we're gonna silicone around that, put it back, bend these little tabs back down. While I had it off, like I said, I'm gonna silicone around this part of it. That's not gonna make a difference on oil consumption, but it fits kind of loose, and we'll just do that. I'm also going to get my air gun and blow in here and make sure there's a check valve down in the oil pan. Make sure that the check valve's not stuck, and make sure we're actually draining back. So make sure I can blow through it. But as you can see we've got oil on top of there, which means that there was oil in this part of the air cleaner. The only way it's going to get in this part of the air cleaner, because like I said, you've got this tube right here attaches, and it sits like that. So any oil that makes it through the PCV system should dump into the intake, but we've got some that's accumulating down in here. So I think that's the oil that is escaping, you know, the vapors with oil, the crankcase vapors, blow by, whatever you want to call it, that have an oil mist in them, escaping out the side here, and then, you know, the oil dropping out and running into the intake under the air filter. So that's what we're trying to prevent, and hopefully, you know, it'll help things out a little bit. So I'm just going to clean this up and, you know, put a film of silicone around it and put it back, squeeze it back, bend these tabs back down, and hopefully we'll be good to go. Alright, there we go. So maybe that'll seal a little better now. This is not correct at all. This is somebody's attempt at hooking this up. There should be a 90-degree elbow here, 90-degree elbow on the valve cover, and then a tube that connects. It should not be hosed all the way. I went ahead, I don't have the tube. The car at the junkyard was a non-turbo. The air cleaner sits in a, I think the air cleaner sits in a little different spot. I know the tube was different, or the way it was set up was different, and so I couldn't use it. So for this, I've ordered the elbow, the little 90s, and we're gonna probably end up, once they come in, maybe using a piece of copper or something like that and make our own tube, and then probably wrap it in something so that it doesn't chatter. So we'll see when that comes in, but this is not correct, and I'm not sure that it's not pinching off like that when it's closed, when the hood's closed. So we're gonna need to address that. So now I'm gonna go blow through that tube and make sure it's not stopped up. All right, so we've got our air hose with the little rubber tip on the end. Clean the tip off. I'm just shove that in there. And I already verified, again, I don't have a free hand because I'm holding the camera, but I verified that we've got air coming out the PCV vent. So we are free. I don't know if it was free to begin with. I guess it was. I blew in it and then checked, and it was air coming out. So it either was free or we freed it up. I don't know. So now I'm just going to kind of go through, blow some of that oil out of the intake. It's all under part too. All right, so I'm gonna put it all back together now. I think we're in good shape for now. So, thanks for watching.